If you're over 60 and you're still eating these 5 everyday foods, you may be silently destroying your prostate and slowly losing your ability to get and keep a strong, reliable erection. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because I've seen the damage firsthand, right there in the operating room. I'm Dr. Grace Holloway, a urologist and certified sexual health surgeon with over 20 years of experience helping men reclaim their health and their dignity. I've worked with thousands of older men who suffered for years, trapped in a cycle of prostate swelling, weak flow, sleepless nights, and a fading intimacy simply because no one ever told them the truth about what they were eating. And here's the part that shocked even me. Many of the foods they believed were healthy, foods they've been eating for decades, were the exact ones making everything worse. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 common foods that are inflaming your prostate, throwing off your hormones and quietly weakening your erections. Most men don't realize how directly what's on their plate is connected to what's happening in the bedroom until it's too late. But here's the good news. Once you understand what's working against you and what to eat instead, you can take back control. You can reduce the pain, improve blood flow, and even restore natural, strong erections. No pills, no procedures. And I want you to pay special attention to food number 2. It's been marketed as healthy for decades, but for many older men, it can do a whole lot more harm than good. Before we dive in, if you want to protect your prostate and preserve your strength as you age, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. This channel is built specifically for men over 60 who want real answers, not fluff. And if something in this video hits home for you, drop a 1 in the comments. It helps me know what content matters most to you. Now, I know some of you watching right now are already thinking, Doc, I've eaten these things my whole life and I feel fine. And I hear you. I really do. Here's the thing. The damage from these foods isn't always sudden. It's slow. It's quiet. It builds up over years, sometimes decades. So by the time you notice the symptoms, the nighttime bathroom trips, the weak stream, the erections that just aren't what they used to be, the inflammation has already been brewing for a long time. That doesn't mean it's too late. It means now is exactly the right time to do something about it. All right, let's get into it. The first food on this list is something that's been a staple in almost every American kitchen. It's something a lot of men grew up eating without a second thought, but over the years, it's quietly become one of the most dangerous threats to your prostate and your sexual function. I'm talking about processed meats, and what they're doing inside your body might genuinely surprise you. Let me start with something personal. I grew up in a house where breakfast meant sizzling bacon, lunch meant cold cuts on white bread, and no backyard cookout was complete without hot dogs on the grill. That was just life. It was comfort food. It was American, and honestly, it was delicious. But over the years in my practice, I started seeing the other side of that picture. Not in textbooks, in real people sitting across from me. Men coming in, dealing with prostate problems, frequent urges to urinate, and a quiet frustration they were too embarrassed to talk about. Erections fading, confidence going with them. The common thread, a lifetime habit of processed meats. Now, I'm not saying one slice of bacon is going to wreck your health, but I am saying that regularly eating deli meats, sausage, bacon, hot dogs, and lunch meat is far more damaging than most men realize. These meats are preserved with nitrates and nitrites, chemicals that don't just keep your food looking fresh. Inside your body, they convert into compounds that are strongly linked to cancer, including prostate cancer. But the risk doesn't stop there. These meats are loaded with sodium and unhealthy fats that drive up blood pressure and put serious strain on your kidneys and bladder. And here's something too many men overlook. Your urinary system and your sexual function are deeply connected. When your prostate becomes inflamed or enlarged, which often happens after years of poor dietary habits, it presses on your urethra, disrupts bladder control, and directly impacts your ability to maintain an erection. The fats in processed meats, especially trans fats and saturated fats, are brutal on your blood vessels. They stiffen your arteries, reduce blood flow, and damage the delicate vascular system that powers erections. Think of it this way. Your penis doesn't have a backup generator. It runs on blood flow, and if the highway is congested, traffic doesn't reach its destination. I can't tell you how many men I've worked with who swore they just had a little prostate trouble or that it was just normal aging, only to see dramatic improvements once they cut out these meats and switch to cleaner protein sources. Grilled chicken, wild-caught fish, free-range eggs. These foods work with your body, not against it. So, if your goal is to protect your prostate, improve your urinary flow, and restore strength to your erections, here's your first line to draw. Step away from the processed meats aisle. Take back your plate. But if you think bacon is bad, just wait until you hear what might be sitting in your refrigerator right now. Something millions of Americans drink every single morning, thinking it's doing their body good. Let's talk about dairy. This one surprises people more than almost anything else I bring up. Milk and dairy products, foods we were told our entire lives were the foundation of good health. I remember being a kid and being told to drink my milk every day for strong bones. I believed it. Most of us did. It was on every school lunch tray, on every breakfast table across America. It was as American as apple pie. But after more than 20 years of treating men with prostate inflammation and declining sexual function, I find myself asking, what if that glass of milk wasn't helping us? What if it was quietly hurting us all along? Here's what the research and my clinical experience show. Dairy products, especially in large amounts, contain a hormone called IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1. It's naturally present in milk, but in adult men, elevated levels of IGF-1 have been associated with abnormal cell growth, particularly in the prostate. In plain English, regular dairy consumption may be creating the ideal environment for your prostate to grow in ways that aren't good for you. I've seen men with no family history of prostate issues experience rapid changes simply because of long-term high dairy intake. And that's not all. Cow's milk and dairy products also contain natural estrogens, female hormones. Regular consumption can disrupt the delicate testosterone balance in older men. Over time, that hormonal disruption can mean fatigue, mood changes, and yes, weaker erections and lower libido. I've had patients in their 60s and 70s complaining about persistent prostate pressure, waking up 2 or 3 times a night to urinate, struggling to start or stop the flow. They never connected those symptoms to something as seemingly innocent as their morning yogurt or the cheese on their sandwich. There's another factor most people don't think about: inflammation. Some men are sensitive to casein, a protein in dairy, that can irritate the gut and promote low-grade inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. It's subtle, but it's powerful and it builds over time. So what do you do instead? Honestly, it's easier than ever. Almond milk, oat milk, and coconut milk are solid substitutes. No added hormones, no growth factors. You can find great plant-based yogurts made from soy or coconut that actually support gut health. And if you still want some cheese in your life, go for lighter, less processed options like ricotta or cottage cheese in moderation. Small changes, real results. Your prostate and your hormones will thank you for it. Now, if you think the first 2 were eye-opening, the next one is hidden in your favorite comfort foods, tucked under a golden, crispy crust and dressed up in irresistible flavor. It's the kind of food that satisfies your cravings in the moment, but is slowly strangling your vitality from the inside out. Let's talk about saturated fat from fried foods and fast food. This one hits close to home for a lot of us, myself included. I can still remember the smell of crispy fried chicken filling the house on a Sunday afternoon back in my hometown in Georgia. Or the comfort of a good greasy burger after a long day on call. Those meals felt warm, familiar, grounding. They were how families came together. But over time, what I started seeing in my clinic told a very different story. Men would come in proud of their cholesterol numbers, but struggling with frequent urges to go, nighttime bathroom runs, and a loss of confidence from unpredictable erections. They couldn't figure out why. They didn't drink much, didn't smoke, no family history. But their diet, heavy in saturated fats from fried foods, fast food, and fatty cuts of meat, was telling the real story. Here's the thing people don't realize. Saturated fat doesn't just clog the arteries around your heart. It affects circulation throughout your entire body, including the arteries that supply blood to your prostate and your penis. Over time, that restricted circulation cuts off the oxygen and nutrients your prostate cells need to function normally. When that flow is disrupted, tissues become inflamed, hormones go haywire, and you end up with a swollen, irritated prostate and weaker, less reliable erections. And it doesn't stop there. These fats impact your hormones directly, raising estrogen levels while lowering your natural testosterone. That's a recipe for frustration. Belly fat increases, energy drops, libido fades, and your prostate keeps quietly swelling in the background. This isn't just theory. I've seen men reverse their symptoms in just a few weeks after cutting back on saturated fats and switching to healthier oils and proteins. The good news is, you don't have to give up on flavor. Omega-3 rich fish like salmon and sardines, a drizzle of olive oil over roasted vegetables, a handful of almonds or walnuts. All of these offer anti-inflammatory support that helps your body heal and restore circulation where it matters most. Making this switch isn't about giving up comfort. It's about trading short-term satisfaction for long-term strength, energy, and vitality. You'd be amazed at how much lighter you feel, how much clearer your mind gets, and how much better your performance becomes when your blood is flowing freely and your hormones are balanced. But as damaging as fried food is, the next one on this list is even more insidious because it comes wrapped in the idea of relaxing, unwinding, enjoying life. It's a habit a lot of men defend. But inside the body, it's quietly ravaging your prostate and eroding your manhood one drink at a time. Let's talk about alcohol. I'll never forget one particular patient of mine, a retired firefighter from outside of Chicago, mid-60s. Tough guy. Still lifting weights, still playing golf on the weekends. But he came to see me frustrated. He was waking up 3 or 4 times a night to use the bathroom. His erections had become unpredictable, and despite his otherwise healthy lifestyle, something just felt off. When I asked about his drinking, he grinned and said, "Nothing crazy, Doc. Just a couple beers with dinner and maybe a whiskey on the weekends." But for his body, that routine was anything but harmless. It was a slow, progressive disruption of everything that was keeping him functioning at his best. Here's what alcohol actually does once it's inside your system. It throws off your hormonal balance. Specifically, it raises estrogen and lowers testosterone. That imbalance is dangerous, especially for older men. Testosterone is what keeps your muscles firm, your energy steady, and your libido healthy. When alcohol starts messing with that, you begin to feel weaker, more sluggish, less like yourself. Beyond the hormonal effect, alcohol also directly irritates the prostate and the bladder, making it harder to fully empty and triggering that constant sense of urgency, especially at night. Add to that the fact that alcohol is a diuretic. It dehydrates you, concentrates your urine, and makes it even more irritating to your urinary tract. It's a vicious cycle, and most men never connect the dots between that nightly beer or glass of wine and the trouble they're having in the bathroom or the bedroom. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not telling you to give it up entirely. Life is meant to be enjoyed. But moderation matters a lot. For some men, cutting back from drinking every night to just once or twice a week is enough to see dramatic improvement in prostate comfort, urinary flow, and yes, stronger erections. A small amount of red wine may even offer some antioxidant benefit. But heavy beer consumption and hard liquor, especially regularly, can be genuinely harmful to the male body over time. My patient, the firefighter from Chicago, he took the advice seriously, cut back on the drinks, upped his water intake, swapped his evening beers for herbal tea and some antioxidant-rich snacks. Within a few weeks, his sleep improved. His confidence came back. His wife noticed before he even had to say anything. But as disruptive as alcohol is, the single biggest threat to your prostate and your sexual health might already be sitting on your plate, multiple times a day. It's sweet, it's comforting, and it is completely underestimated. It's the fuel for chronic inflammation, hormonal chaos, and a steep drop in energy and performance. And there's a good chance you already had some this morning. Let's talk about sugar. This is what I consider the most underestimated and most dangerous factor of all when it comes to prostate health and erections. Refined sugar and simple carbohydrates. You'll find it in the cereal you had for breakfast, the white bread on your sandwich, the soda at lunch, and the dessert after dinner. I've met men in their 70s who never smoked a day in their life, never drank heavily, stayed active, and yet they were dealing with ejaculatory issues, constant urgency, and a sex life that had gone quiet way too soon. And almost every time when we looked closely at their diet, Sugar was the silent saboteur, hiding in plain sight. Let me break down what sugar actually does. When you eat sweets or simple carbs, white bread, pastries, pasta, sugary drinks, your blood sugar spikes. Your body responds with a big release of insulin to bring it back down. But over time, those repeated spikes lead to a condition called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance isn't just the gateway to type 2 diabetes, it's a fast track to prostate inflammation, hormonal imbalance, and erectile dysfunction. High insulin levels drive chronic inflammation, which causes your prostate to swell and your urinary symptoms to get worse. On top of that, excess sugar increases belly fat, which produces more estrogen and drives testosterone down. That's a double hormonal hit. Lower testosterone means lower libido, less energy, and weaker erections. One of my patients, a retired mail carrier from right outside of Nashville, came in deeply discouraged. He couldn't figure out why he felt constantly tired, why he was running to the bathroom all the time, and why he hadn't had a strong erection in over a year. He wasn't overweight, didn't drink, didn't eat fried food, but every single morning started with orange juice and a muffin. Every evening ended with pasta or something sweet for dessert. We reduced the sugar, replaced it with complex carbs like oats and quinoa, and added more low glycemic fruits like apples and berries. 6 weeks later, he looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I didn't know I could feel this alive again." You don't have to eliminate sugar completely. But if you want to protect your prostate, reclaim your vitality, and maintain a strong erection, you have to get intentional about it. Choose slow digesting carbs. Eat real food. Stop feeding the fire of inflammation. Now, I know we've covered a lot, and I want to make sure you're not walking away from this just knowing what to avoid. The number one thing I hear from people after watching videos like this is, okay, but what am I actually supposed to eat? That's the real question, and you deserve a real answer. So here's a quick summary of smart swaps that directly support your prostate and your sexual health. Instead of processed deli meats, reach for grilled chicken breast, wild-caught salmon, or sardines packed in olive oil. Instead of cow's milk, try oat milk or almond milk with no added sugar. Instead of fried food cooked in vegetable oil, go for meals prepared with extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. Instead of your nightly beer or whiskey, try a cup of hibiscus tea or pomegranate juice. Both have real evidence behind their benefit to prostate and cardiovascular health. And instead of white bread, pasta, and sugary snacks, make the switch to oats, sweet potatoes, brown rice, and whole fruits. These aren't sacrifices, they're upgrades, and every single one of them is doing something real inside your body, reducing inflammation, supporting hormone balance, and improving blood flow to exactly where you need it. Now that you know the 5 hidden enemies that have been quietly stealing your vitality, and the foods to replace them with, the power is genuinely in your hands and on your plate. I've sat across from men who were furious at their own bodies, confused about what was happening to them, deeply frustrated that nobody had ever explained the connection between what they were eating and how they were feeling as men. And I've also watched the transformation that happens when they finally make the change, when they stop feeding the inflammation and start nourishing their vitality. I want that for you too. The truth is, you don't need a miracle pill. What you need is knowledge, consistency, and the willingness to let go of old habits and build new ones. That takes some courage, but you're already here, which tells me you're ready. Start with one change today, then another tomorrow. Your prostate will feel the difference, your energy will feel the difference, and the people you love will notice too. If this video was helpful, let me know in the comments. Tell me which food surprised you most, and don't forget to subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to share the 5 best foods that actively protect your prostate and restore natural, strong erections at any age. You won't want to miss it.